Yo guys, my name is Zopreme, and in today's video I'm talking about The Flash Season 5 and why can't Gideon translate the Speedforce symbols? So guys, we find out by Barry himself that Gideon can't actually translate the Speedforce symbols. Nora is writing in the Speedforce language in her journal so that the timeline is not affected by her writing the events down in the past, so only she knows what the symbols mean. Gideon, on the other hand, is just a database with past and future events, records and stuff like that. You would think that the only reliable source that could translate something would be Gideon, as she is essentially a massive database with stuff from past, future and the present. But the Speedforce symbols are sacred, and it is the language of the Speedforce, which means there could be nothing for Gideon to translate from or to decipher. When Barry came out the Speedforce in Season 4, he was writing Speedforce symbols and also saying these things that actually happened in the future. Now this language is most likely an ancient language of the Speedforce, hence why Barry was writing it when he came out of the Speedforce. Gideon has recorded both of the 2024 newspaper and 2049 newspaper, and if the timeline changes, then the events of that newspaper may as well, which has already happened previously on The Flash, with obviously Saboteur killing Iris. Then the newspaper changes, but Team Flash did reverse this and the newspaper went back to normal. Now, the Speedforce symbols have no effect on the timeline, which is why Nora uses it in her journal, so she could actually write down the 2024 events and 2049 events and nothing would change, as she is the only person who can understand the language. Which means if she was to write down the events of future things, then nothing would change, as if Barry or anyone else on Team Flash looked at the journal with the Speedforce language, they wouldn't know what it's on about. The closest thing to Gideon and the Speedforce symbols is when Barry came out the Speedforce writing mysterious symbols, which was probably recorded by Gideon, but that's all that Gideon would know about that event. Now, one of the biggest factors when it comes to these symbols is actually Earbod Thorn, aka Reverse Flash, as he knows about Gideon, and also he uses Gideon and uses the Speedforce symbols to communicate with Nora, so he would actually be able to understand Nora's journal. Now, it would make sense if Reverse Flash made a database or updated Gideon so she would actually understand the Speedforce symbols, but for some reason this hasn't happened in the future that we know so far. But the reason for this is probably because Barry is the one who made Gideon and he doesn't really know the Speedforce symbols himself. So maybe in the future he still doesn't, and that's why Gideon doesn't know herself, because Barry is the person who put all the databases onto Gideon. So far, the only people who actually know and can understand the Speedforce symbols are Nora Allen, Reverse Flash, and also Sherlock Wells, who is starting to translate the language. So eventually he may actually be able to understand it. Overall, the reason that Gideon can't translate the language is because the Speedforce symbols are so ancient as a language that it's never been recorded on Gideon's database, and also Barry doesn't understand it, which means Gideon won't, because Barry is the creator of Gideon. So yeah guys, tell me in the comments below, do you think there's another reason for Gideon not being able to understand the language for story purposes, or maybe in the future, as the timeline's changed, maybe Gideon will be able to actually translate the Speedforce symbols? I hope you like this video. My name's Zopreme. You guys have been the best. As always, peace out.